Hey, this is Notser, and we're in the Tier 7 Premium German destroyer, Z-39, on the map Haven. Now, this is not the first impression of the ship. It is, however, the first impression of the Tier 7 version. And thankfully, it still has access to the concealment module, which is usually reserved for Tier 8s and higher, similar to the Belfast in that regard. And what's my feeling on that? Well, I was really not impressed with the Tier 8 version. The Tier 7 version, I'm lukewarm. I just don't like the 150s, and I'll show it to you obviously in this game. But an enemy cruiser is spotted out and moving aggressively towards my position, so I pop my smoke immediately, send my torpedoes. The reload, it's fair. The torpedoes feel alright. They're usable. It's better at Tier 7 than Tier 8, obviously. I have no complaints there. I just feel like, for me personally, the T-61 design fits my playstyle better. And we get 2 torpedo strikes for a grand total, of 15,000 damage. Cause a flood, force out damage control, and I'm going to follow up with HE on the nose. And it does pretty good damage, honestly, against a low armor target if we don't hit the gun. I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know why he rushed forward brazenly. I didn't announce my presence. I think he was just moving quickly to a flank, and we just so happened to be in his way. Well, we're not in his way anymore. That's for sure. So 150s. What would be the advantage of 150 millimeters versus the 128s? Well, you theoretically can get to the citadel of cruisers more effectively. Ain't no way you're getting to the battleship citadel, but cruisers for sure. Light cruisers, maybe some heavy cruisers if you get lucky. You do give up rate of fire for that larger gun caliber, but as a German, your AP is pretty sick. Like, you should honestly always look and consider, do I want to fire AP right now, especially as Germans? And yeah, that fits well. Unfortunately, I can't use AP at all when firing against an enemy DD. It will just overpin ridiculously. So we're going to move forward on this flank. Going to look for some trouble. And I do kind of feel like there is a lot of trouble when considering this ship. It does have a lot of health though, right? Tier 7, 2200. The Tier 6, the Eagle, or Eagle, whatever the French say for that, that has 19 with survivability, obviously. I have survivability as I introduced. But that's a lot of health. That's Tier 9, Tier 10 levels of health pool. So even if you make a mistake, this particular ship apparently will allow it. And that's pretty attractive to players. Yeah, sure, you might be perfect, and you're the 1% that is, but the rest of us mere mortals, we've got to play the game, and we will be taking damage, and the ability to survive a little bit longer is great. So I saw an Atlanta, and it was terrifying, the range that I spotted him at, because we all know what the Atlanta has. It has radar. And I don't want to be spotted by radar, so I try and get some distance, but I'm also going to send torpedoes at his location. And I was like, you know what? We're going to test some AP. And first salvo goes right into the citadel. I feel great. All right, 150s. These are going to just do tons of damage for me. And wait a minute. As he's angling his ship, backing up, not finding the citadel that I was hoping for. Thankfully, I can maneuver away. I don't know why he switched to AP. I have no idea why he switched to AP, especially at that range, especially with the velocity of the shells. There's just no way I'm going to let that happen. Enemy defeated. Another Atlanta. Want to stay away from him, but I also want to continue pushing forward. There is no DD on this flank. The enemy DD, the only one that's alive, is near my base. And this is sort of a race to the base capture scenario that's developing. And I'm like, I don't know about this one. I don't really feel like I can win this. Yeah, I have pretty good torpedo reload. But it's a Z-39. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be mediocre. We're going to probably fail our team in some aspect of the game. Just do the best you can, Notser. This is an impression. We're not looking for an ace game. So I get into torpedo range, which is, it's okay. The torpedo range is about 2 kilometers, greater than your best possible concealment. And I'm going to torpedo this New Mexico. He's like a 4th speed or a half speed. He's got to be like a turtle. I don't know what his goal is. You run into this a lot where a player's near their base or long range, and they just don't expect that there could potentially be something that's this devastating to their life. So sent torpedoes, felt like it was going to work out. He is indeed moving incredibly slowly, and it looks like we're going to hit 5 torpedoes, I think. Not kill him. So I moved a little bit too close for comfort. Pop smoke, gonna fire from it, and use my AP on the superstructure. And friendlies take out the target. And I'm like, oh, well, that's just great. The Atlanta's using radar. And I was just crapping my pants. Oh, I can't deal with radar. I can't do it. And then I'm like, wait a minute. His radar's down. He must have popped it way early. Way early. So I was like, ooh, okay, cool. Cool, we don't have to deal with radar. But look at my health. Only got, what? 57,000? 57,000. 5,700. 5,700 is not a lot of health, but with the extra health pool that this ship has, especially as a tier 8 that's basically been moved down to a tier 7, and I'm using survivability expert, it's not the end of the world. A regular tier 7 would probably have, what was it, 17, 18,000 health, and I'd basically be dead if I was playing a regular tier 7 destroyer. But I'm not, clearly. This is German, and it has German engineering. And unfortunately, that German engineering cannot compensate for terrible aiming with my torpedoes, and they pass harmlessly in a completely opposite direction. And I'm just like, the enemy's capturing our base. We have to hurry this up. So as soon as I can, send my torpedoes. And yes, I do have adrenaline rush, so you do see that the torpedoes faster rearm. Send my torpedoes. Try and hit the Leon. Get outside of the Atlanta's range, because we know he's used radar, and it should be up soon-ish. And just look at how slow these shells are moving through the sky. So I'm like, come on, torpedoes. Yeah, Leon, there's nothing there. You're okay, buddy. No one's gonna hurt you. No one's gonna make you cry. Except maybe some torpedoes. And I think we've got him. I think he can't avoid it. At least 3 torpedoes are going to make contact. And that's all we needed. Enemy battleship taken out. Now, you'll notice that I will probably start spamming that I want the Atlanta killed. And look at the Atlanta. He doesn't miss a trick. He's going to go behind the island. He's going to fire over it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Such an original play, Atlanta. Obviously, I'm having fun with this. That's what he's supposed to do. Regardless, he's a threat, and I can't go into the capture because of that. He's got radar. So I'm like, come on, guys. Ignore the battleships. I can do damage to the battleships. Go after the Atlanta. If the Atlanta is taken out, I don't have to worry about it at all. And they're just not doing it. It's not a focus. So I'm like, again, focus the Atlanta. And of course, my torpedoes miss completely on the New Mexico. Long range AP, it's okay. It's only 4 shells though, at a rate of fire of like 7.5 base. And I think it's like 6 something right now because of adrenaline rush. So I'm just hoping that I can get my torpedoes back up before the New Mexico is able to push into me. He's moving forward as if he saw the torpedoes and recognizes that I don't have them. But I just can't believe that that's true. So I'm just going to send torpedoes, fresh torpedoes that's in Mexico, as he's using his aircraft. Going to... Now, I like to do this. I like to fire at a target when I send torpedoes. My thinking is people don't actively work on doing damage to a target that they know their torpedoes are going to be on target. So I sort of bait him into believing that his torpedoes aren't being sent towards me, or they're not accurate. He has to compensate by doing damage, and it ultimately ends up baiting him. And yet, more spam. The Atlanta! Take the Atlanta out! But no, we have to be distracted by the full health Scharnhorst. Friendly Bayern is going to try the ram. It goes as predicted. I wouldn't really recommend ramming a torpedo. Yeah, very dangerous. And oh, look at there! I don't have any smoke. And I'm just terrified of the Atlanta. I gotta get distance, use my speed boost, pull back. I just have to risk it. I gotta get that biscuit. I'm so hungry. The game is back and forth. Enemy team has 2, we have 3. But unfortunately, the friendly is all the way near our base because he just had to defend. So I just gotta get this guy dead. He has to die. Every second he's alive is allowing the enemy Scharnhorst to excel at taking out the Leon. So I don't want that. And I'm honestly pretty thankful that the Atlanta just doesn't respect me. He's just not looking at me. Even though his guns are the 127s that can rotate 5 or 6 seconds, he just doesn't care. So I switched to HE, not having a lot of success with AP. Get a fire on the target, send torpedoes, I'm going to hide behind the island. Makes sense, right? The enemy Scharnhorst isn't in range, and of course he takes out the friendly Battleship. If they would have taken out the Atlanta, I could have moved into a position that could protect them from the Scharnhorst by, being closer. But because the Atlanta was alive, I couldn't risk being spotted out moving closer to the enemy battleships and the Atlanta. Right? That's suicidal. So, yeah. Atlanta's firing on the friendly. I'm firing on the Atlanta. Switch to AP. Going for the broadside. Of course there's overpen. Just find the Citadel and kill him. Miss out on the Citadel. Miss out on the kill. Friendly takes him out. But we're still alive. So I think we're good. I think the Z-39 definitely represents... This is just a tier 8 that is classified as a tier 7. It's got so much health. It's got, obviously, access to the better concealment. So it's just better because it's a tier 7. They didn't do anything to the ship to make it like, oh man, this feels great. They just put it down a tier. And I don't know how to feel about that. On one thing, you feel like, yeah, it's going to be more viable. It's going to be more attractive to players to purchase. But it's not actually fixing the issues with how it feels. I can't decide between 128s or 150s. I'm stuck with 150. It is attractive, though, that there is a 150 mainline at tier 6, 150 premium at tier 7, and then 150 for the mainline once again at tier 8. So you could theoretically find the German 150s in the future, too. I'm sure there might be a split or something. You could find the perfect ship for you and just play through the whole German line. Maybe I like fast torpedo reload with really big gun caliber. You could do that. So, I don't know that that's their intention. I think their intention is just to design the ship and release it as soon as possible because the T-61 just didn't work out. Maybe it'll work out later. Who knows, right? Who knows? But friendly's finally here. I'm trying to communicate to him. I will spot for you. You sit in your smoke and you fire on the enemy. Don't you dare show yourself. I'm not going to fire. I'm just going to chill here. Going to capture the base, and we're going to win the game unless the enemy tries to contest. And honestly, that's probably what he should do. He probably should have turned back towards the base, used the islands to block line of sight, and just hope that maybe his secondaries or torpedoes land, and he can turn it into a 1 versus 1. Everyone is unhealthy. Nobody is sitting in a position where they feel good about their scenario, but that's why the game's so enjoyable. It's such a competitive game, and I really felt like the Z-39 helped me win, if for no other reason than it had the crazy health pool. It really is crazy at tier 7. So, yeah. And it looks like he's going to line of sight. Doesn't matter, though. We're capturing this base. Overall, the ship is good to okay. Or maybe okay to good. I feel like I would play this, and it would definitely be a good trainer for Germans. But a viewer brought this up. You don't really need a training ship anymore. You could just spam a 19 skill commander, store up elite commander XP, and do that as your retrainer. So that's something to consider. But, you know, it performed well. Obviously, we did 136,000 damage, 12 torpedo strikes. That's the very German aspect of it, and I love that. So, that was the Z-39 at tier 7. Let me know what you think. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.